Did you really think I was going to skip the intro of today's video? What is happening, guys? I'm TechSource. Welcome to Setup Wars episode 258, the series where we show off some of the coolest, most creative setups across the world in the hopes to maybe inspire you on improving your very own. If you guys want to be a part of this amazing series, make sure to watch the video link below to learn how to participate. But with that said, sit back and relax, because you know what time it is. Buying PC parts is still difficult because of the scalpers and companies who charge ridiculous prices out there due to supply and demand. Well, that's why I still use Karma, so that it can notify me when a product I add to my list comes back in stock, drops in price, or if there's a coupon code available. Take this EVGA graphics card for example. It was out of stock on Newegg, so I added it to my list, and then a week later, I got a notification that it was back in stock. So I clicked on the link and I purchased it right away before the nasty scalpers could get their hands on them. The best part is that it's completely free to use. Just visit the Google Chrome store and add it to your extension. Then you can start adding items to your list. You can even create separate lists to keep your items organized. Once you add the item to your list, you will get a notification via email or mobile push when an item you have saved goes on sale, has a relevant coupon code, or comes back in stock. Karma also scans the web for coupon codes and applies them at checkout automatically, but you will need to have a computer, so having the Chrome extension is a must. And finally, you can now earn Karma Cash to your PayPal account when shopping from select retail partners. So if you guys want to save the most money while shopping, or maybe you just want to get notified when your product comes back in stock or drops in price, then make sure to download Karma for free using my link down below. You know, it's been a fat minute since we've seen a really cool Star Wars themed setup, so I thought I would kick off the episode with a very unique setup for the Star Wars fans out there. I'm calling this setup unique because this is the first ever Darth Revan themed setup on Setup Wars, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I didn't even know who Revan was despite watching all the Star Wars movies, so I went on YouTube and I watched a 13-minute video to get me up to speed. Long story short, for those who don't know, Darth Revan was originally a Jedi that became a Sith Lord and formed a Sith Empire to conquer the galaxy, and then later turned back to the light side and became a Jedi once again. So since there hasn't been a Revan themed setup anywhere, Alex thought he would be the first one to do it, and I gotta say, my first impressions, he did an awesome job executing it. The way the setup is split between both of the colors, we got the red representing the dark side and the purple representing the light. You can even see the lighting from the keyboard transitioning over from red to purple. Amazing color coordination and attention to detail. When you think about it, the lighting actually tells the story of Revan's transformation from Jedi to Sith. So the setup's purpose is for only gaming, and he's got a single 27-inch monitor that's sandwiched by a pair of Razer Namo speakers sitting on top of the Alex unit, which is basically a monitor riser with some storage. It doesn't take a genius to figure out he's a huge Razer fan as well. In fact, that's how he's able to sync all the lighting together using Razer Synapse. We got the Razer Tartarus keypad, the Huntsman Elite keyboard, and the Basilisk mouse sitting on top of the Goliathus Extended Chroma mousepad. He's even rocking a Razer laptop stand that I didn't even know existed, and a Razer phone charger. Can we give this guy the Razer seal of approval or something? I feel like the only thing missing from the setup is the new Razer gaming monitor and the Razer Siren microphone. Although the desk might seem a bit too cramped for most people, he did a good job keeping things nicely spaced out and organized. He does own a Nintendo Switch with a Razer light-up dock on one side and a MacBook for travel on the other, but he mostly games on his pre-built Alienware PC that's packing the 3700X and the OEM RTX 2080 Ti. Excellent work with the cable management, using a single long raceway to channel the wires and then tucking away the rest behind the Alex drawers. This was such a refreshing setup with lots and lots of personality. Thank you, Alex, for starting out the show. Speaking of refreshing setups, next up is JaVon from the US and his custom-built gaming and productivity setup. He used two Carly countertops for the layout. We got one for the desk surface and the second one as a headboard, which he mounted his monitors against. This setup particularly, not again, God help me. This setup is particularly interesting because I've never seen both a headboard and a monitor riser together. It's usually one or the other, and if I'm being honest, I just don't see how the bottom shelf adds anything to the setup. Both in function or aesthetics. I mean, there's a small lamp on there, but other than that, it doesn't really contribute anything to the setup. I do like the other smaller shelves he added for the speakers, however. It just adds to the minimalistic theme of the setup. Speaking of shelves, it's cool to see that he added his own DIY shelves on the sides of the desk and a custom pull-out drawer underneath. For peripherals, he's using a Corsair K63 keyboard with the Razer Basilisk X mouse. And then we got the HyperX Cloud Flight headphones that he keeps underneath the desk along with a few of his controllers. JaVon did a really good job with the cable management. He drilled holes in the headboard to pass through the cables from the monitors, speakers, and the PC, which has a Ryzen 7 3700X and the EVGA RTX 2080 Super. Other than that weird bottom shelf placement, I think this is a really cool custom setup that you built, JaVon. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Let's switch up the gears a bit and take a look at a perfectly executed setup from Mark, coming all the way from Winnipeg, Canada. You guys have the best coffee, seriously. Mark is a mechanical technician that built this setup for gaming and streaming, and right off the bat, I am loving the execution. If you're gonna go with a T-monitor layout, this is the perfect way to do it. He's got both of his 27-inch monitors hooked up to a single desk mount, but he has the vertical monitor practically touching the table, and this helps cover the neck piece from the mount in the back, so the setup has a super clean floating look. In terms of the actual desk layout, he went with a Linman tabletop and added one Alex unit for some storage. I just love how he has a dedicated cutout for all the gear on a desk. One for the keyboard, one for the mouse, the Echo Show, and even the wireless charger. When you think about it, this is a much more subtle way of passing cables through the desk, instead of creating a cable grommet, which is more noticeable due to its size. Passing a single cable through a smaller slit in a mouse pad is far less conspicuous, but it has to be done on a black mouse pad, of course. Moving on to audio, we got a Sound Blaster X Katana soundbar and the HyperX Cloud Flight headphones that he has hanging beautifully from the wall, and underneath that he's got a boom arm with a mic combo. I also love how consistent the color scheme is across the entire setup, not just from the LEDs, but also the wallpaper as well. We can even see that on the Echo device and his smartphone. I love it. Not as much as I love the cable management. Have you seen a more satisfying cable path than this? I am getting moist just looking at this. And finally, we got the star of the show, the custom mini ITX system that's powering it all. We got the 9700K with an EVGA RTX 2080 Super. Beautiful build with beautiful cable work to complement, of course, a beautiful setup. I just love the personalization that went into everything. With the nanoleaf panels to the artwork on the wall, it has great synergy with a hint of personality. I couldn't have asked for a more perfectly executed setup. Job well done, Mark, and thanks for sharing this with us. Coming in at number 4 is Ransheru from the Philippines and his cozy Hatsune Miku themed setup. I hope I pronounced that correctly, otherwise the weebs are going to be after me in the comment section. So the 34-inch ultrawide is mostly used for gaming and editing, while the TV on the adjacent wall is for, well, you guessed it, watching anime. He built the setup on a custom desk with a headboard for the ultrawide monitor, which was a really great idea because the desk he's using has a glass top. So the only way he can manage the cables is by routing them through the headboard. With that, he's able to get the best of both worlds. He now has this really cool reflective surface with no visible wires. Underneath the monitor, we got the Corsair K70 keyboard paired with the Logitech G502 mouse and a JBL soundbar, which helps cover the cables going across the desk. Aside from the soundbar, he does own a Logitech G933 headset, which is used mostly for gaming. I think it's safe to say that Ranchero is Miku's #1 fan, judging by the artwork on the walls, to the plushies, and oh yeah, the 3 shelves filled with figurines, but I could be wrong about that. Given the space constraints, he was forced to keep the PC underneath the setup, but at least he put it on a caddy, unlike most other setups. This not only helps keep the PC cleaner from dust and dirt buildup over time, but he's also able to move it around more conveniently if he ever needs to get access inside or in the back. It's actually shocking to see what the setup looked like in the beginning. Talk about a glow up. It's always great seeing the setup's evolution from the very start. You can really see the amount of dedication that went into every upgrade. Job well done on your current setup, Ranchero, and thanks for sharing this with us. Wrapping up the episode is Steven's setup from the UK. When I first saw the pictures, I thought he was rocking the IKEA mom desk with the pull-out drawer, but he actually made his very own variant with a couple of Ekbacken countertops and Alex units. I gotta say, I'm loving the way this looks over the original mom. Steven is a full-time supporter for people with autism, and this is the setup he built for gaming and productivity. We have dual 27-inch monitors mounted against the desk with the Ducky 1.2 SF keyboard and the Patriot Viper mouse combo. Moving over to audio, the setup has both a soundbar for listening to music and watching videos, while the Astro A40s are for gaming. I'm actually glad he mounted a PS4 on the side of the Alex unit instead of keeping it in between the drawer and the table, like I see in most other setups. I don't think they realize that it's really bad for the internals if they do that. I am loving the cool synthwave color scheme of the setup, which also carries over to the sick gaming PC. We got the Ryzen 5 3600X paired with the Asus TUF GTX 1660 Super. I couldn't be more happier with the cable management. Looks like everything is under control thanks to a single raceway that he installed underneath the desk, while the rest of the cables are hidden behind one of the Alex units. As I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite things about this setup has to be the desk layout that was designed after the popular IKEA Mom series. Such an organized and epic gaming setup. Thank you, Steven, for sharing this with us. As always, guys, don't forget to download Karma using my link down below if you want to get notified when an item you add to your list comes back in stock, drops in price, or if there's a coupon code available. And that will do it for today's video. As always, make sure you guys comment below. Let me know which of these setups was your absolute favorite and maybe a sentence or two about why, because I'm always reading the comments section. As always, if you guys are enjoying Season 5 of Setup Wars, feel free to toss a like to support the channel and show some love. As always, if you guys are enjoying the show and you're new here, consider subscribing because I do host Setup Wars every single Monday. Thank you so much for watching. I will see your beautiful faces in the next time. In the next time? What?